a stone's throw away from the Bere Peninsula, Bere Island plays host to a population of 190 people. Working as a community development officer with the Bere Island Project Group, John Walsh moved to the island in 1996.
I actually came from Mayfield in Cork City, but my mother was from here. The island was a great place to live and to grow up. Like, we had a great social life, you know, there's a great community spirit here. And then when I got married myself and had kids, like we had our own community creche in the island, so they got great care by local people. When you live in an island, like, you're kind of very connected with the weather, you're very connected with the tides, and they kind of govern how you live. It is a very inspiring way of life.
In collaboration with UCC, the Bere Island Project Group decided to take part in a Horizon 2020 initiative called Grassroots Wavelength, a community development initiative to construct an FM radio station in rural communities across Europe.
Broadcasting on 100.1 FM in southwest Cork and online around the world.
Good morning, everybody. You're very welcome to Bere and Beyond here on Bere Island Community Radio. So I'm here in the Heritage Centre. I'm joined by Orla. How are you getting on this morning, Orla?
Great. It's a gorgeous day on Bere Island.
Beautiful day, isn't it? Like, yeah, you can feel the sun, the heat.
Before COVID, we had a 30-day licence from the BI, so we used to go out every kind of second Sunday, but there was no kind of set dates. So it took a while then to build up listenership.
In order to broadcast over an FM frequency, a mast had to be mounted atop of Knockanalig, right by the Holy Year Cross. Bere and Beyond, the programme broadcasted by the station, streams online at bereisland.net and hosts a live show every Sunday on both 100.1 FM and online.
The reason we got involved in the project first day was we felt it was a great means to record the oral archive of the area, and we always wanted to set up a kind of a play based on the story of Bere Island, as it were. So that was kind of the real focus. And then another part of it then was we like to keep connected with the diaspora around the world. Like, I think at the moment there's 19 different countries listening to Bere Island Community Radio, but it's Bere Island people or Bere people living in them countries. All we want to do is use the radio to connect with, say, politicians, to give the information to our listeners. That's what we're there to do, or try and support causes like the fishing cause there, for example, recently, and trying to bring the local stories home.
We have an interview with Liam de Puyer, which I'm sure will prove very interesting. We also have an interview with Dean Hegarty. We have music, of course, from Joy Grogan. And
the biggest thing about it is it's the local voice, and that really came about during COVID. It got very important then.
Dr. Fiona Kelly is a family GP operating out of the Bere Place Clinic in Castletown, Bere. Fiona was enlisted to Bere Island Community Radio with the aim of keeping the community up to date with the latest developments during the pandemic.
Initially, I was very nervous because I wasn't used to doing radio work, but I thought it was an absolutely brilliant initiative for bringing the community together. The feedback has been absolutely amazing. I think people really appreciated the weekly up-to-date guidelines, which I tried to summarise to the best of my ability and to deliver in a language that people could understand. And I think as well that people really appreciated hearing the simplified information from a local and familiar voice.
In an odd turn of events, a seemingly threatening global pandemic worked in the favour of Bere Island Community Radio. As an increase on active listeners and contributors grew the community's interest.
At one stage we were the only show in town. There was nothing else on, only Bere Island Community Radio. Like, the pubs were shut, like school was shut. We started doing the school assemblies. So again, that built up an audience, and we started doing, music with the kids. And then we started going out to the school to set up their own kind of community radio station in the school, and we bought them equipment through that project.
As you know, we have been growing vegetables. We have 2 new plants growing, peas and blueberries. The blueberries are growing very well.
Then we linked with the Castletown Community Hospital, which would be kind of like a residential home. They wanted a mass, and the actual local priest started saying the mass from his kitchen. Then we started asking people to put together music. So we actually branded that show as well then, called Bere and Discs. So it keeps developing kind of as we're going.
Good morning, everyone. This is Elaine here on Bere Island Community Radio, and you're all very welcome on a glorious Sunday morning.
Overall, there's probably about 18 people now at the moment. Like, we have 6 presenters. We actually have another person that does virtual presenting from the mainland. Then we've 2 or 3 people that do the technical side for us. And then we've a lot of people gathering stories who are Bere Island born and bred, and they like to contribute to the oral history of the place and get all the archives and the stories, about the island and what they felt important about the island in times past.
Barry Sullivan, a former Bere Island resident, now located back on the mainland in Castletown, Bere, was first introduced to Bere Island Community Radio as a regular listener.
I started out as a listener, and then John asked me would I go on the radio sometime and speak about my time as a vet. I agreed. I said okay. So I did that, and then I did a couple of programmes about traditional Irish farming, and also then cooperated with a couple of friends, and we spoke with a number of older people, and we've presented a number of programmes for Bere Island, including things like the coming of the ESB to Bere Island, rabbiting in Bere Island back in the 50s and 60s. Because of COVID, of course, people were at home probably a lot more, and so it was a lifeline for many people.
As part of the Grassroots Wavelength project, it was required that 2 radio stations be set up in rural communities in Ireland. Aisling Moran, a community development officer from Sherkin Island, took the reins and established Elaine FM on the island.
UCC in Bere Island reached out to us and they said, would we like to be part of this project? And I think we just jumped at it. I think it's a brilliant project for community development, for getting people involved, for communication, and also it creates a connection at a different level that we didn't have before. And people are really eager and really willing to participate, which is great as well. At the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same and make sure the island survive for the generations to come. And projects like these, they do that. Even though it might seem this is a radio project, it's much more than just a radio project. It brings life in its own way to the islands.
I'll follow you into the park, through the jungle, through the dark. Girl, I never loved one like you.
Both Elaine FM and Bere Island Community Radio have come on leaps and bounds in their short time since their inception. And in the face of severe uncertainty, it seems like a return to times past, where the radio and community engagement has become once again a staple of the community.
By nature, we are social creatures who need human connection, and I think Bere Island Community Radio was the perfect medium by which people in the community could stay socially connected whilst staying physically apart.
You couldn't get a better kind of medium than community radio, because first of all, it's bringing people together. Everybody has a voice. It's very inclusive. Anyone can do it. There's a role for everybody in community radio. We have a 100-day licence again this year, which we're grateful for. At the moment, it's only live on a Sunday, and the rest is repeats. So we're going to grow that side of it. And I suppose it's to get out into the communities as well. Like, say, Bere Island alone is not going to do this. You need all the other communities with it. And I think people find that very important. And I think they find the sharing of information important.
Oh, oh, let me come home. Home is whenever